Welcome to Today with Dr. J, where I give you the guidance and tools to figure out what works for you in your recovery. My name is Dr. D. Jaffe, and I'm here to help you live happier, more purposefully, and without limits. I tend to ruffle some feathers for doing this, but I do away with the notion of once an addict, always an addict, because I believe that anyone can beat their addiction with the right mindset, tools, support, and education. Nothing can stand in your way to success. You don't have to commit to anything but action. You don't have to have anything but motivation. Whether you want to quit, drink less, or simply become more mindful around mental health and addiction, I'm here for you. Sophie and I got married. Well, now this is our 12th year now. So we were married. She was pregnant with our first, and I was in graduate school. And in graduate school, I did a lot of animal surgeries. So I was down in the basement putting catheters in rats is literally what I was doing. I would do that for 8 hours a day. Like it was, this is not an enjoyable, the end of my PhD was not an enjoyable period of my life. It was dark and it smelled like rats and you're in the basement. It was just terrible. And Sophie called me. And I'm not taking calls while I'm like literally gloved up doing surgeries. I'm not taking the call. And she calls again. Like, oh, she doesn't call 2 times. And then she calls again. If anybody knows my wife will not call you 3 times in a row. That's not her way. She barely will call you the first time. She'll shoot a text. I knew something was up. So I put everything to the side. I took my gloves off. I took everything off and I walked outside the door and I picked up the phone. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she goes, I found the emails. And my heart stopped. I was breathing in my stomach. My legs were shaky. And I'm standing there just still kind of like in these scrubs from the surgeries. And I knew in a split second, so I'd been essentially engaging in online cheating on her it wasn't cheating on her. I was doing it before I met her. And then it just continued literally throughout our relationship, never stopped. In the process, I had a fake email and all this stuff that I'd created so that she would find it when we started dating and then got married. And in that moment, when she said that she found it, I knew exactly what she was talking. She didn't have to say anything more than that. I knew exactly what she was saying. And this feeling of guilt and shame and remorse and being found out just washed over me. And it's to date one of the scariest, most shameful, and yet most freeing moments that I've ever had in my life. Now, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that it was one of the most freeing moments in the moment, right? And we're here to celebrate gratitude over that release of shame. But if my wife hadn't found those emails, I would still be walking around lying. I would still be walking around hiding. I would still be walking around every time we had a fight, going and dealing with it through some random person I've never met in my life. And feeling, honestly, just like a piece of shit in my relationship. Maybe I would have had more than one kid. Maybe I'd be divorced at this point. My life would not be as good as it is right now. I can name many moments in my life of where pain brought on growth. But in terms of shame and guilt, there wasn't another moment that I knew that my wife knew everything about me. And that was scary. Because there was a lot about me that I was trying to keep hidden, including the fact, obviously, that I'd been kind of engaged in this online sex for like a decade, since the MySpace days, you know? And yet this thing that I'd been holding on to for years, like at least 3-4 years just with her by that point, the moment it got found out and the shame was out, I felt the biggest relief of my life because I didn't have that secret anymore. And even if she was going to leave me, at least I didn't have that secret anymore. Now, obviously, she didn't end up leaving me and I had to do a lot of work to be able to get the relationship back to where it needed to be. But that is one of those moments where I actually can feel, as I'm talking about it, my stomach was in knots. Literally, I couldn't breathe. And yet, almost in the next moment, I went, okay, at least now everything is out. Like there's nothing else I have to hide. And for me, that is why fuck shame is such a big part of everything we do here. It's a big part of in every moment of growth that I've ever had in my life. I had to put the shame aside. And unfortunately for me, I'm much better at this now. But historically, I wasn't good at being the one who released the shame on his own. I had to be found out. And that is a really terrible feeling to have when somebody catches you. And if you've ever hidden your use or hidden your drinking, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you hide it and you hide it and you hide it until it's not hidden anymore. And the feeling of shame around hiding is almost as bad as the feeling of guilt over doing the thing. So that's my story. I am endlessly grateful that my wife found those emails at this point, even though I had to walk through what felt like actual fire. It felt like I was burning up when she found it out, because had she not, I wouldn't have this incredibly happy life. And that's my shame story. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found the lessons helpful in your recovery. Click below to like, comment, and subscribe. Plus, if you want to find out more about the work that we do at Ignited, visit IGNTD.com for more.